New Robin, anyone? Well, sorta, kinda. Babe, wake up, new Robin just dropped. Does Batman need any more Robins? Probably not. Will they keep giving him some? Yes. Now this Robin isn't exactly a new Robin, and she may not be an official Robin, but it's interesting to chart what's going on. This Robin is a bit of revisiting of a character who's positioned and teased as a potential one of taking that role. And time of recording, and that's 2024, that's what's happening again. Who is this Robin? Well, it's Mia, aka Maps Mizoguchi. Where is it happening? Batman, the Brave and the Bold, the run that began in 2023. Also, Bruce Wayne became a hot vampire in this for a hot minute.
Well, aren't you gonna invite me in?
I'm Sasha, this is Casually Comics, and let's discuss DC potentially maybe giving Batman another Robin. Hi, future me here. I didn't realize the Joker got so excited about a new Robin that he tried to leap off my wall until I was editing, so enjoy. Mia Mizoguchi, the online world has ruined the word maps for me as a nickname, so we're just gonna call her Mia, is not a brand new character. She has been around since 2014, and she debuted in Gotham Academy #1. She was created by Becky Cloonan, Brendan Fletcher, and Carl Kerschel, the latter of whom is the writer and artist for the story we're going to be taking a look at, which is a tale called Mother's Day that began in Batman the Brave and the Bold #10 in 2024 and concluded in issue 12. This three-parter very much drops you right back in the Gotham Academy world, so knowing that lore is helpful. It's not impenetrable, but you do have a leg up if you've read that because you'll know who some of the characters are and what some of the little references mean, because some things they're not really going to go into. Mia is a young student at Gotham Academy who really admires Batman, nay idolizes him, and she wants to be Robin. It was said at one point that she was 14, so she's already way past prime Robin age. Batman will start you as young as 8. She also loves to research and investigate, but to differentiate her a bit from Tim, her focus is on the supernatural. She also has a peppier personality. She doesn't get quite as broody as Tim becomes. You're almost fusing at points Tim and Stephanie. The fact that there are enough Robins that we can do a personality comparison like that. Mia also kind of knew Bruce Wayne. This because of her family connections. For the purpose of this tale, what one needs to know is that she had already tried to help Batman out before, down to making her own Robin costume. And that while it hadn't gone the best, everything did work out and she did still want to be Robin. And apparently Batman left an earpiece in her bag? Questionable, Bruce. They're going for a whole she's gonna do it anyway, so it's better she does it with supervision and under his wing. But they don't express that enough, so that it comes across not very well, or not as well as it could. It comes across at the start of this story arc like he's just endangering her for his own gain, because these stories are where you see that, ooh, there's an earpiece in her bag. It's pushing a bit against the suspension of disbelief necessary to enjoy Robin. That is, as a concept. You still can, and there are some who will be able to make that jump in suspension no problem, but for others it will start to push against the idea of, isn't he just straight up endangering children? It depends. Mileage is gonna vary. And the last important thing is that Mia knows who some of the members of the Bat family are, but not Bruce. For now. All of that takes us up to Batman the Brave and the Bold, which began in 2023 and was coming off of the cancellation of Batman Urban Legends, which was another anthology Bat book. Most of the stories in Batman Brave and the Bold are about Batman or the Bat family, but not all of them. Not unless Artemis is now a member of the Bat family, or Lois. So sometimes this book veers a bit towards feeling like a generalized anthology and not specifically a Bat-themed one. The stories range in length, quality, and canonicity. You can have little mini arcs like with this story, or just little standalone outings. Like the story at the end of the aforementioned issue 10, where Batman eats a cheeseburger, but no cheeseburgers for Bruce in this story, just vampirism. So Mother's Day, with story and art by Carl Kerschel, casts back 1 year, whatever that means, to establish Batman dropping Olive off at Gotham Academy. This is so they can set up a romance between him and the history professor, Isla McPherson, which takes us to now, which is now from 1 year ago. When is now? Yes. Bruce is now bringing Isla onto the Bruce Wayne dating scene. And a couple of things are established here. One of the most important things is the fact that he's been being himself with her. There's a difference between actual Bruce and the public persona of Bruce. Or at least he seems to have wanted to be open, but it's gonna cause conflict when he has to go full Brucey Wayne later on.
I shouldn't have brought her here. She's not ready for all this. No, she's fine. She's perfect. I'm the one who's not ready. I'm not used to enjoying myself.
That has such strong Batman Mask of the Phantasm vibes with the I wasn't expecting to be happy. It really evokes that kind of energy. It feels very much like this is an earlier Bruce Wayne than what is meant to be being conveyed in this story. But what's important action-wise for this scene is the bloody man who just stumbles by, who nobody notices despite the fact that he knocks over a waitress. But Batman notices. He's on the case. Bruce follows the super conspicuous blood trail to a closet/cloakroom and finds an injured model, who is obviously attacked by a vampire of some kind.
The holes in her neck look like they're from... I can't even bring myself to say the word. You Call an ambulance right now.
And I didn't do it. I know it looks super suspicious. Don't tell the tabloids I did it. The fun thing about this issue is that it's playing with Bruce having the balance being Batman with his personal life. And that aspect of the character can sometimes get left to the wayside if one is playing with the concept of there is no Bruce Wayne. That's also just another persona for Batman. Or the idea that Bruce Wayne is some kind of precog bat god, so he's prepared for absolutely everything. He never stumbles. Having him have to balance things makes him more relatable and humanizes him, which helps the character overall in the long run because it provides avenues to avoid stagnation or having to up the stakes near ludicrous levels. Bruce has to leave the party, which means he's just left Isla down there, but he goes up to the roof where he has caches of costumes. Because the key point here is that he's still prepared, he's just not prepared to the level that he is in some other stories.
I've installed 250 of these caches across the city for emergencies. Money well spent.
There are some who disagree with that statement, but let's take a look at this cache batsuit. The batsuit does look very good in this story, and he's off to catch a man-bat, but he notes it's not Kurt Langstrom, and he's thrown, and wants one retreat to a more vulnerable Batman, and that you get to see him make the calculations for how best to stop this fall without hurting himself more than necessary, and acknowledging that he will be hurt. Now, by the time he makes it back to the party, Isla's left, because he just ditched her downstairs with a bunch of people that she didn't know. Bruce has a huge bloodstain on his shirt. You'd think someone would comment on it, but things just get worse for him. Not only has Isla left, but when he goes to talk to the model who he helped, she ends up stumbling because of blood loss onto him, and then they get photographed in a really compromising position. And Bruce laments he can't even go explain to her because he has to go investigate these man-bats, so he goes to Kurt Langstrom just to see what's going on. Are you turning into a man-bat again? Now in this story, this also means he's going by extension to investigate Tristan Gray, who is another person who can transform into a man-bat and is a student at Gotham Academy. This is what brings us to our connection to Mia, who he now contacts via the secret earpiece. He wants to have her look in on her friend Tristan Gray. Spy on your friends for me, so says Batman. Now, logistically, this does make sense, but also, Bruce, what are you doing? He just assigns her things because he specifically asks for a hair sample. Now, she's super into it and calls it official Robin business, but this could have been done in a way that made Bruce look better and more responsible. For example, let's go back. She's introduced in a scene where she's fencing, but instead of that being her introduction, or if one wants to even keep those panels, during that, she could have been mentioned that she was noticing something was off about Tristan, that she wanted to look in on him anyway. That would have positioned her as already on this path. And then he could have just wanted to ask her a question about, say, Tristan. And then she's the one who offers to go and investigate. This would put him in a position where she's gonna go off anyway. And so if she's gonna do it, he wants to make sure that she's safe. He should also probably at some point try and dissuade her, but she can be all, no, I'm doing it anyway. Because in the story sequence of events as it stands, it's not as flattering to Bruce as it could be in the child endangerment department. You know, if one is concerned about such things, or if one is thinking about them. I find that this story places one in a position to think about it more than usual. And this isn't just me, the story itself brings it up.
Mia is resourceful. She's right about one thing. I'm counting on the fact that Gray's her friend. If the boy has lost control of his humanity, seeing a familiar face might bring him around. Then again, it might not. Playing with lives, Bruce. Playing on hunches. Sloppy. I tell myself it's okay. I'm still on the Academy grounds. Practically a stone's throw away if something should go wrong.
And why did he leave her to go investigate in the middle of the night? Because he has to go talk to Isla. Romance priorities. Now Mia is on the case, and her scenes, if you enjoy her personality, are very cute. She's also got a little journal style narration box like how Stephanie Brown used to. It's polite to always knock first. I guess there are perks to being a half bat guy. You don't have to share a room with anyone, and you can stay out all night. Probably makes it hard to get your 8 hours of sleep though. I like to get 9 hours of sleep whenever possible, because it's a whole hour better than 8. Keeps my mind sharp. Tristan? Of course this goes poorly for her, which leads us to issue 11. But it turns out that was one of those fake out cliffhangers. She's more fine than it appeared she would be, but she still needs to get Bruce, and that pulls him away from making out with Isla, which makes him look even stranger than potentially if he hadn't gone to visit her. He shows up at her house, makes out with her, and suddenly he's, I need to go. My planet needs me. I'm not Batman.
Are you okay?
I found Tristan. He was in his room, but I've never seen him like this before. He's way more batty, like out of control batty. I tried talking to him, but he smashed out of the window and took off.
Are you hurt?
Oh no, I'm fine. I maybe got some rope burns on my legs.
Their investigation of Tristan leads them to even more man-bats, a swarm.
Mia got back safely to her dorm room at the Academy. I might be giving her a bit too much rope, too much hope. She shows promise, but she's headstrong.
A bit too much rope? You started this. A bit too much hope. You gave her a whole assignment and she went to it in her costume. That's more than hope. Now, Bruce really wants to sort things out with Isla, but he also really needs to investigate these man-bats. So he goes to the model who attacked him looking for clues, and he's very dramatic about it. All Gotham doesn't care what I want, which works well for the theme of the story, which is about balance and the sacrifices that Bruce has to make in his personal life and how they can impact him and those around him. And that also, he can't really let people see the real Bruce Wayne either. However, the way it's presented is also melodramatic and funny. Now, when Bruce gets here, this is obviously a vampire hovel, and this woman has obviously been turned into a vampire or pseudo-vampire man-bat thing, but this isn't plans upon plans, Bruce, so he was prepared for some things, but not everything that happened here. And so he gets turned, and he's brought to a supernatural creature called the Mother, or just Mother, hence the title, Mother's Day. Now, he does have some kind of backup plan. There were sonics in his shoes, so he activates that, and he's able to escape, but he's already bitten and turning into something. He jumps out of a window. Passerbys notice and just casually goes, "That Bruce Wayne?" Falling out of a window. I love this cabbie who is a super messed up Bruce Wayne in the back who just drops him at Gotham Academy and not the hospital. And it's not even because Bruce has to bribe him or anything. He just goes where he tells him. This would have been a great scene to have Bruce pull a whole, "I'll give you $1,000. Drive me to the Gotham Academy even though I'm clearly dying in the back. Also, don't tell anybody. Please don't film this and sell it to the news." Now, once he gets to Gotham Academy, he starts to call Mia, who he's referring to as Robin, who he's calling that before he's even fully out of the cab. He doesn't tell her he's going to Langstrom's, at least not on panel, which matters. Put a pin in that. He does get there just tripping into the lab going, "Serum, needs serum." Langstrom doesn't think this is odd or anything. I mean, when you turn into a man-bat, it's not the oddest thing you've seen. But Bruce is too late, and he starts to transform. Red eyes, vampire, let's go. This is a great scene for readers who want to see shirt-open bloody Bruce Wayne at their door. On panel.
"Well, aren't you gonna invite me in?"
So he went to see Isla, and that leads us to Mother's Day, part 3, the conclusion, the mothering. Now, Bruce is a pseudo-vampire, so he doesn't actually need to ask to be invited in. They're just playing with the imagery, because he just ends up barging in anyway. And don't think I didn't see that the pants got way lower in between issues and in this panel. He needs that extra hotness, because when he gets in there, he just smashes the heck out of her dog. Ham is the dog's name. Ham gets bashed into the floor, which is 100% breakup worthy. If she didn't have reasons to break up with him already, there's definitely this.
"It's all noise. None of it matters. Only this. Only you. And me. Together." Ah.
Yeah, Isla smokes. She's a smoker. That's a plot point. So he got a cigarette to the head. Suddenly, while all this is going on, Mia shows up and she has the antidote. She just sticks him with it. She got it from Langstrom, I guess. I guess a lot of filling in happened off panel. We can just assume that he must have told her what was going on. There's a lot you have to assume here. This is one of those just go with it moments, and so Miles is going to vary as to whether you can go with it or not. Now, Mia, of course, is able to put 2 and 2 together, and it's confirmed when Bruce has Alfred bring her back with him to the cave. And here she just very much gets treated as Robin. She's asked to help with the investigation. She's also the one who's able to determine the type of supernatural creature they're looking for. And in this way, she fills a nice niche, particularly since Batman doesn't delve into the supernatural too much. So she could fill a bit of a gap in his knowledge there, if you're playing with the idea that this isn't a Batman who just knows everything about everything all the time.
It doesn't sound like a vampire, more like a succubus or a Varkolak. Did it try to seduce you or eat you?
"Both."
Hold on, here we go. Varkolak, undead creatures, typically from Slavic countries with a taste for human livers. And get this, the older they are, the more powerful they get.
I like how that's supposed to be a salient detail and not something that's standard for supernatural creatures. Who would want to sign up for that if the older you got, the weaker you got? You already get that as a human. Bruce gets Alfred to make her a suit, and it's time to make more serum and crash a supernatural succubus, or just get a suit that maybe was already there.
"Good morning."
Bruce and Mia have a cute dynamic. He's just very open and relaxed with her. I guess this many Robins in, you just have more chill. Now, despite this not being a vampire, Bruce stakes her, and her trying to seduce him into joining him was very well illustrated, but I did chuckle when she called him a young wolf. The important thing to know is that she used Isla's form to do it. Her attempt at seduction does not work, and he drags her up into the sun via the bat plane, which he's letting Mia fly. Don't let any of the other Robins see that. They'll be so jealous. Now, after successfully dispatching this creature, she burns up. It's time for our wrap up. Now, despite all of the weirdness, Bruce ditching her at the party, then the images of him with somebody else, then him showing up at her door and promising it wasn't like that, making out with her, running off, coming back all bloody and beating up her dog. Isla is still here for Bruce Wayne. He's just that hot and rich. She's trying to visit him at the hospital, and apparently he knew that she was just a ride or die type because he has to break her heart. He can't break up with her like a normal person. Gotham playboy Bruce Wayne, having suffered a serious accident a few days ago, now seems to be in the care of movie starlet Minerva Quinn. The two have been photographed by paparazzi on Wayne's private yacht in the Mediterranean.
"I feel terrible. Even this view isn't enough to take my mind off of everything. By now Isla will have seen the news. God knows I made it hard to miss. She'll do the right thing, the sane thing, and move on with her life. I wish I had that option.
Will she? Can you guarantee it? I mean, she should, but she probably should have broken up with you after you beat up her dog, even with the extenuating circumstances. That's a lot. It is interesting, though, to think that what Bruce craves is stability, just a nice low-key relationship. It kind of makes me want them to revisit this, especially if they're going to continue to play with a Bruce Wayne with less resources, because then if you were to fully canonize this and this relationship and how they broke up, this would be a good entry point for him to be able to get back into her life, and he would have a way to apologize even though he completely manufactured this breakup. I'm thinking too far ahead to things that will probably never happen. The story ends with him thinking of Mia as Robin and the idea that maybe the mother will be back. The end for now. So a lot of places ran with the idea that this completely canonized Mia as a Robin. To me, it still seems like they've given themselves wiggle room. They can, or they can just drop it if they need to. So my question is, would you like this to become the main canon? And if it does / has, do you like the idea of Batman having yet another Robin? Batman and Mia have a fun dynamic, but it's not wholly a new one. As for this story, I can see it eliciting several reactions. Ranging the spectrum, meh is always a viable option. For fans of Gotham Academy, it could be fun to revisit this world and these characters. If one enjoys Mia, this is a good outing for her. She's keen, enthusiastic, and useful. Batman doesn't deal with the supernatural as much as other elements, so for some, this will be a fresh, fun angle, while for others,
I'm sorry, but that's not my Batman.
That, coupled with how far removed Bruce is here from the paranoid, antisocial man of action he has been for years at this point, either makes the story feel like it takes place in a much earlier time frame in his career, or it may make him feel out of character for some, while for others it will feel closer to form, or fit in as an outing where it's exploring more of the Bruce Wayne persona. It feels a bit more like a Bruce story than a Batman one. And he is still competent, it's just compared to Batgod levels, it can feel like a come down. There are also gaps in the story's logic, and some connections feel loose. And just in general, some things feel like they could have been tighter in terms of connecting scenes or making sure motivations came across well. However, the overall tone of the story is very fun. I guess that's my word of the video. It has a good vibe. It's well paced, it's entertaining, it introduces you to some characters you may want to explore a bit more. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It feels like something that one can read inside of canon or independent, so it's strong in that way. It's a pleasant story to read overall. However, some of the aforementioned factors could dampen the experience depending upon the reader. Mileage will vary. And of course, I want to hear what you think. Would you like it if Mia became officially a Robin? Do you like stories with a bit of a softer Bruce Wayne? Or that Batman-Bruce balance interplay? Is this not for you? Do you not like how the characters are depicted? Get that supernatural out of here. Are you thinking something else entirely? Like about a future version of her having the superhero identity of Meridian, as seen in Birds of Prey #1. I want to hear it all. Put it down below. While you're down there, please do all YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Thanks so much for taking some time today spent discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.